Yo, Joe!
Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today, a little change of pace from Classified and Marvel Legends, the usual Hasbro brand. We're gonna take a look at Super7 and see what they got to bring to the table. We got the G.I. Joe Baroness, which is one of the ones I was interested. Now Super7 does do more cartoon accurate action figures, which is a different style from what Classified is doing. Classified is keeping those same sort of aesthetics of the characters, but giving them a few more updates and whatnot, which is fine, which I prefer. And overall, Classified just tends to have more articulation, whereas Super7 is more cartoon accurate, and the articulation is not, I'm not gonna say it's terrible, but again, I haven't handled a Super7 figure myself, so this is my first time. But from what I've seen, they're not as articulated, which is kind of a bummer for me because I do like to pose my action figures. And Super7 does scale a bit larger. I think it's 7 inches rather than 6-inch figures. So that's another turnoff for me because you can't really display it with your Classified. So yeah, with that being said, they do come in this other sort of outer box, which looks very nice. It's just cardboard. There's nothing fancy about, the logo there. It's just kind of printed on there. You have Super7 down here. A bunch of legal leaves and all this stuff. You have your Hasbro down here. And then you have your 2 tabs here. And I assume you can open it from either side. So both sides open up. You just gotta use the one. Open your flaps there. And then we should be able to, or we'll open this other one so we can push it through. And just like that, you have a useless piece of cardboard there. And then we have the actual figure here, which is covered in even more plastic. I almost stabbed myself with the scalpel here. Kind of threw it up in the air for some reason. Let's see. We're gonna tear this apart. Definitely makes it feel a little more premium, with the extra packaging and whatnot. But we have a very nice Cobra logo there and a nice sort of sleeve insert here, very metallic color, and you can see some nice detail here on the outer layers of the box. Like the paint has been chipped off, it's been through war and whatnot. Nice G.I. Joe logo there on the back, and then you have the cool kind of bluish camo going throughout the sleeve. At the top, you have the Ultimate logo there, or Ultimates exclamation point. And then down here, some more legal leaves and all that stuff. And then down here, you can see the Baroness Intelligent Officer dog tag right there. So some nice attention to detail with the packaging. Definitely makes it feel premium and whatnot. But let's see. Upon removing the sleeve, we have that sort of metallic paint chipping effect going through some parts of the packaging, more on the edge this time around. On the back, we do have a read up on the Baroness, so you can pause here and read up on her. And then you have some cool sort of cartoon shots here of the Baroness and different technology screens and buttons and whatnot. You have G.I. Joe there, Super7 there. Very hard to see some of the stuff, everything's so reflective in that sort of metallic paint. But there's the back of the packaging. The top again says Ultimates. And the front, we see the G.I. Joe logo there with some nice reflective silver there around the border of the logo. And then you have the window showing you all the stuff she comes with. So 2 alternate heads, and actually that should be 3. I don't know if that gas mask is something you put on and put out. Um, 2 guns, multiple hands, and they assume there's even more accessories. But with that being said, let me open her up and let's take a closer look at everything. Right, so right out of the box, I did go through the top rather than the bottom. The bottom just seems more complicated to open. But you have this beautiful explosion insert in there, which you can take out and use for your photography with the action figure, and use it for other figures if you like. But I think that's pretty neat. I do have a tray here, so I'm gonna sort through and then we'll take a close look. All right, we got everything out of the packaging, and I just wanted to note it was very easy to take out the accessories. For the most part, they all have these sort of trays that go on top of them, and once you remove those, they basically just slide out of there. So I think that was easy enough and very cool that, it was that simple. Other than the figure, you have to brute force her out of there. But as you can see, we do have a lot of accessories to cover. So let's go through each one of them, starting from the hands, because we do get a good assortment of hands here. Quad bike moment. We have a good variety of hands. We have this sort of gripping hand with a vertical hinge here. For the most part, pretty smooth moving there. We have a cupping hand for her rifle. She can hold the rifle correctly, and this one has a horizontal hinge, so side to side. She has another one with the sort of horizontal hinge as well, so side to side, and it's, I believe, a pointing finger or maybe a sort of trigger finger, because we do get quite a few where she's kind of pointing, or she has a trigger finger, as you can see there. I don't see any real difference going on there. Here's another one. Again, sort of, she has 2 left ones. Or, oh, geez, okay. So you have 3 left pointers or triggers, and then 1 right trigger or pointer. It's a bit odd, isn't it? I'll have to check and see if that's accurate after reviewing this. I don't know, that's a lot of pointers or trigger fingers for her, but hey, if that's accurate, then so be it. We have this other hand, which is specific to a certain accessory, which is the next accessory we're going to cover because it's the smallest one. It's a syringe, obviously a reference to the cartoon, and at a certain point where she dresses up as a nurse and, tries to, I don't remember exactly the episode, but she does try to sedate someone for some reason. But yeah, you can put it in the hand and you can see how cool that looks. Again, very specific to the cartoon, but it works, and yeah, she can hold it tight. It's not gonna move. Pretty tight fit. So there's that set of accessories. Next up, we do have a dagger or knife, as whatever you want to call it. It is a fingerprint magnet, as I can see right now, but it has a nice silver paint to it and sheen. It's very reflective, and the handle there looks very nice. We get a more cartoon blaster here, which is, I assume all accessories are specific to her, but we can see the pistol here molded in a basic gray plastic with very few details going on for it. And then we do have the other sort of cartoon blaster that we see throughout the cartoon, this sort of submachine gun blaster, and you can see the mold there. Again, molded in gray, no real paint detail going on. But yeah, and you can't really port any blast effects on the front of it, but there's that. And then we get to this other one, which I don't really remember. I assume it's also a reference to a cartoon episode, but I don't remember which one. There is some paint splotch going on here. I assume that's not supposed to be there. You do have some yellow on the ball up here. You have a sculpted magazine there, and then some blue and yellow here on the back. So it looks very cool, but yeah, I think this is a paint splotch and shouldn't be there, which is a bit unfortunate. Moving on, we do have this sort of holster pouch for one of the, I assume it's the smallest pistol here. So that should go in there and it should port, and that works very well. And they assume this just goes on her hip as such. So you can just clip it on there, and it does have a shape. So you have a D shape there. This is shaped like a D. And it should just peg on there. Doesn't seem to go in all the way, but it will hold and stay there for the most part. You can see how that sticks out here on the side. I don't know if it's supposed to go in all the way, but that's as far as I'm able to get it as of now. We do have her sort of assault rifle or bigger submachine gun, which, you know, is iconic to her. So there's this, and then you do have a peg there, which I assume is for this strap. So yeah, I was wondering what this strap was for, and it's going to be for the assault rifle so she can carry. But essentially you have a peg here. You're going to port it in, snug fit, and then you have a smaller peg up here, and you can go ahead and port it. I don't know if it should be this way or through this other way. We're going to do it this way. And if I can get it, maybe it's this way. That's a very tight fit, so I'll try to get that off camera. But yeah, this should port into that other hole, and you can see the detail for that gun right over here. Pretty simple, molded in black. Then we move on to the gas mask sort of head sculpt, which looks very cool. Very plain paint going on, but for the most part, you know, it does its job. You have a canister here with some nice green paint, black paint, silver paint there for the buckle, you know, a black knob, and the yellow top there with some silver here. And then you have another sort of pliable strap there, which I assume will probably go around her torso. I'm not too sure. But there's that, and the hair has some nice sort of blue shading to it. So it looks very cool. The other head sculpt here, she's sort of giving a smirk, you know, outwitting the Joes, and the hair is in that jet black, so that looks very nice. You have the see-through green glasses. That's very cool. The lipstick, I think face paint apps came out looking okay. The lipstick on the top kind of messy. That's just me though. And yeah, for the most part it looks great. The other one they included is more resembling the vintage art or, you know, figure, and I think they did a good job with this one. You have the blue shading as well on this one, and then you have the rounded off glasses with this one. I don't think any of the glasses are removable, so you can't interchange between the head sculpts. You have very faint pink lipstick there. You have some red here on the chin, at least from my eyes there is some red. Camera isn't really picking it up too well. But yeah, paint apps pretty decent, if I should say so myself. So there's that. And then she does come with a more, you know, stoic, stern look already out of the box. And that should do it pretty much for all the accessories. I am going to try and get this strap to, you know, connect. So I'll cut back, and if I don't, then we'll just continue on to the articulation. Yeah, so it's kind of a pain to get the smaller peg to go into there. So for now, I'm just gonna have it removed. But let's take a close look at the figure. We're gonna remove this holster as well. And for the most part, aesthetically, it looks great. It is a blue suit from the cartoon, which I very much, love. It's kind of an iconic look and one of the suits that I want classified to eventually tackle. Articulation, for the most part, is something left to be desired. For the most part, everything works. But the torso, I think, is the most annoying part, for me at least. Arms do go out about that much. He does have bicep swivel there. Single jointed arms, so that's a bit of a shame, especially for the price tag. And yeah, it does swivel there, and each hand has their own corresponding, hinge. So these are horizontal fists, so they move side to side. The heads aren't gonna move too much around, other than maybe a little bit side to side. But she has a lot of hair, so yeah, not a lot of movement there. The torso gets annoying because I can't really align the line here, and it just wants to go to the side over here, and it's a bit annoying. You can see how it just brings back like that. So it's a bit annoying that it just like springs back. And then the lower torso, you don't get too much range. So both together, you don't get a lot of, get some side to side. You don't get a lot of forward or crunch forward. You get more back. And that's another kind of annoying thing. She tends to want to, lean back. So you can see how loose that feels or looks. So yeah, she just wants to lean back. And you can see how loose it is. So that's a bit of a bummer. Here at the legs, she can kick outward a little bit like that, and a little bit like that. So not a full splits. She can kick forward a little bit, back not so much. You do have a sort of upper thigh cut here. It's nicely hidden, so the hinge for the leg is in there, and then on top you have sort of a thigh swivel there, and then you have a single jointed knee, so it goes up about that much. And it should swivel. Should it swivel? It does not have a swivel in there. Yeah, so it's just a hinge. It's not gonna swivel at the knee, but you do get a boot cut here, so that's nicely hidden there. And then you do get ankles that go back, forward, and then some ankle pivot. So yeah, articulation is something to be desired with this one. And that's what I explained at the beginning of the video. They're more, meant for aesthetic, and, you pose them and that's it. You don't touch them, you just leave them there on the shelf, which is what I'm going to do with this one. She's just I'm going to give her a few accessories, pose her, and she's going to stay there for most of her time. So yeah, it's nothing crazy to go about. Like I said, this is more appealing to those who want more cartoon accurate representation of the characters. I am gonna stick with classified for the most part. I don't think this is gonna push me over the edge to say, oh, I need all the Super7 figures. Because there are a few that interest me. Next one I want to try and pick up is Scarlet. I love Scarlet. She is one of my favorite characters. And I think that's all Super7 will intrigue me to do, is buy certain characters that I enjoy or love. Baroness in her blue suit was one I was interested in. Luckily, Entertainment Earth had it very cheap for about 23 bucks or something. So that was kind of a steal, especially since they are $50 to $55 figures. Getting it at a huge discount is very nice. So yeah, other characters I would consider buying if they make them. I know Scarlet is already released, so I'll try and get her. But if they ever made it Dusty, obviously I would get Dusty. And, as they continue doing more characters, I would be interested in a few more. But right now it's just Baroness and maybe Cobra Commander. And here's a quick comparison, which I forgot to do, but a quick comparison between her and her classified counterparts. We have the Crimson Strike Team version and the retro carded version. You can see just how much taller she is. Standing her straight up, you can see how much taller she is. And she's on a base, but the retro carded one is on a slightly taller base, and even then you can see how much taller she is. So there's that comparison. And then we also have, I brought out Serpentor because he is the tallest, I think, so far of the classified line. And let's see how he scales with her. And you can see there that they are both like almost, he's a slightly taller than she is, but they're almost like right there in terms of height. Again, she is on a small stand, so it gives her a few more, not inches, but a few more centimeters. But you can see there she is tall, so this does not scale with classified whatsoever. So yeah, there's a quick comparison on that. If you guys were wondering how tall or big they are, definitely does not fit well with classified. So here she is with the gas mask accessory on. The strap does go over her chest, and you can see the gas tank there, and then you have your hose there. And yeah, that looks pretty cool, but probably not the look I would go for or give her. Alright, so here we have her holding her assault rifle, a pretty basic pose, nothing too crazy, using her cupped hand and one of the trigger fingers. It's also weird, she only has the one trigger finger that goes up and down, which would have helped a little bit here, because this is a horizontal hinge, and the other ones also have that weird horizontal hinge. So a bit odd with the hands. Again, I need to check if that's accurate or not, but it is a little weird. I did give her the other head sculpt, so that's how that looks. But yeah, like I said, this is more like an aesthetic thing. If you really prefer the cartoon depictions of these characters, then they're not bad looking and the articulation is okay. But yeah, I definitely would prefer some more articulation just to get those super dynamic poses. But yeah, like I said, I'm not totally invested in the Super7 line, but I will buy, favorite characters or characters that look very interesting. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys in a future video.